guys? Dr. Abby here. I just got out of the sauna and I'm getting ready to go to Pilates. But before I do, I want to tell you guys a little bit about systems. So I feel like it's such a hot word you hear, like, oh, you need systems, you need systems, you need systems to scale. And that's absolutely correct. But like, what does having a system mean? And I want to give you some frameworks that without anything else, if you watch this, you go back into your business and ultimately like influx cash and influx more time freedom just from understanding this framework. Dr. Odell and myself, when we work with our clients, we are really, really big on not just telling people like, oh, here, use this. Oh, here, do this. We really want them to understand the frameworks of where these are coming from, because it's that whole concept. If you teach a person to fish, they'll be able to provide for the rest of their life. And that's the biggest needle movers in my life, is when people not just like gave me the answer or gave me the outcome, but they actually helped me understand the concept and learn the framework so that I could apply it to anything or with anything. So when we talk about systems, I want you to think about everything that you do, everything that your team does, everything that anyone does is just like this loop of activities to do, right? So when we think about a system, your system or your framework should be what creates revenue in my office? What creates an optimal process of this happening? Which means like if I were to go in and do it, whether it's answering the phone, whether it is taking a new patient day one, whether it is getting on social media and making a post or doing a CTA, which is a call to action, like asking a question, no matter what it is, if I were to go in and do it optimally, what exactly would that look like? And even just a few years ago, even like 2 years ago, a year ago, when we went to do this, we'd have like, you hear people, oh yeah, I have it all in my Google Drive. Okay, all of that is going to be obsolete in the world of AI and CRMs and all this stuff. So if that feels foreign to you, start to listen to more stuff like this and learn these concepts, because everything will become a living, breathing document, a living, breathing, like you ask the AI, a living, breathing interaction. You'll just be like, hey, pull up our blah, blah, blah. Hey, someone's asking this, like, and it'll just be real world, real life responses to it. So back to this is that we use in our offices and in our businesses, we use Notion, and then we use Go High Level for our CRM. But the concept with Notion and with organizing these is that you are able to go through, okay, cool. What creates revenue or optimization? Well, I understand that when my front desk calls all the people in the last 60 days that we haven't seen and just does a warm reach out. Hey, we've been thinking about you. How are you? How are the kids? Doesn't even have to be a direct like recall, old school. I understand that every time my front desk takes a selfie picture or a picture of the doc with someone in the office, or gets even better, a testimonial or a video testimonial. And then when they put it on our story, when they drop it to be posted on our Instagram, when they post it on Facebook and collaborate with that practice member, all of these things create revenue. So what I'm doing is I'm documenting those, and then I'm putting it into, okay, if I were to step back macroscopically, and this is a big problem that a lot of us do, is we get so day-to-day in the business that we forget to step out and say, what would success look like in the business? So we don't work on the business. And an identity like paradigm that you have to let go with that is, oh, I can take care of it. Oh, I'll just do it. Oh, I know how to do that. Like, this is how we basically build ourselves into a job. If you are the most needed person in your business, if your business does not run without you, you are the business, which means you don't have a business. You have a really well-paid job, or you have something that works only when you work. So stepping back and saying, okay, what would that look like? Okay, it's when my team does all of this stuff. Okay, so if I were gonna put that into a Monday through Friday, what would that look like them consistently doing? Sweet, okay. And then if I'm going to have them have a dashboard on, say, Notion, Monday, Asana, doesn't matter, then when they go in and look, they can brainlessly, no matter what happened, if their kids were sick the weekend, if the dog threw up that morning, if their coffee spilled everywhere, they still get into the office and they still understand it's Monday morning. Like, I'm gonna catch someone this morning for a testimonial. It's Monday morning, I'm going to recall this list. It's Monday morning, I'm going to have 3 patients say into chat like, hey, who's the best chiropractor in Battle Creek, Michigan? And when it comes up with an answer, I'm gonna have those patients say, no, it's actually grassroots, or it's essentially like, I'm gonna start to train the AI. But no matter what the environment does, we are in contingent. We are able to show up and have our team do the things that consistently create success. So that's the loop of activities that they're doing. And then the big thing is that every single thing that you have them doing, take that script, take that SOP, record that, use CapCut and transcribe it, put it into the back end of like a Claude or a ChatGPT project, and then use that as your internal facing AI. This is the future of how you will train your team. It's the future of operating systems. It's the future of systems in general. And we overthink it. Like, there's no coach, no template, no anything that's going to give you a system that perfectly works for your office. You have to understand how to perfectly work your office. You have to understand what are the concepts of money generation in every single role. And one of the biggest things, like I always say, like, we are not above anything in any of our businesses. Like, we want to understand what that person's doing. We want to have them do time studies. We want to have them do red, yellow, greens. We want to look at what they're doing, because 20% of what we're doing in our business is actually creating 80% of the results. So 80% is just like actually not revenue generating, actually not moving the needle forward, actually not creating the results. And the only way to know that is to have trackable things in place. So to track everything. Then you work your way up the ladder. So we just kind of went through, what would a system for the front desk be like? Okay. What would a system for a doctor be like? And you say, like, what would success look like? What are the things that I do, whether I realize I do it or I subconsciously do it? Like, oh, I always usually like ask for a referral at this point, and this is how I communicate it. Sweet, we're gonna write that down. We're gonna do a little video for our team. We're going to, after an event, we're gonna even if you don't have the team hired on yet, even if you haven't hired that associate doctor, even in contingent of that, I'm going to go ahead and like, oh, I just did an event. I'm going to record the event. So I have game tape. This is how we do an event. This is how we do a workshop. This is how we do a talk. This is how we do an internal referral ask. This is how I'm going to record it. And that's going to be game tape to the system of like internal marketing, right? So these are the frameworks. And I'm going to say what cultivates money generation or revenue generation directly. But Odell and I talk about this a lot. It's like, when we wake up, it's like, what are the 1 to 3 things that we have to get done today that would move the business forward or create revenue in the business? Everything else, if it gets done, it gets done. If not, if we get these 3 things done, we understand that the business moves forward. The better you are at creating what does that look like for every single person in your company, the better you are at getting yourself out of every single thing that is happening in your business, which means your business is now looped. Those things you used to do are now done by other amazing team members that actually, honestly, probably do it better than you, because their full focus is on it. Their full energy is on it. And a lot of the things that you're doing that you think like, oh, I just have to do all of this. Like, I'm just responsible for all of this, so I'll just take care of it. Like, you doing it out of that energy versus someone doing it that loves to do that, like, that is 100 times better than you pushing through. And what happens that I see is that after, you can only do everything for so long. So after a while, you'll get people that almost start to resent the business, or they're so burnt out, or they loved being a chiropractor or a physical therapist in the beginning, and now it's just like, I can't fathom seeing one more patient. That if you are there, get help and have someone help direct you to the right outcome in that. But you want to start these things, systematizing and getting support and moving yourself through the process of doing as fast as you can, so that you have that freedom of choice. Another really good thing to think about when you're building systems in a chiropractic office is you want it to start with a global foundation. So if you do not have a vision statement of your company, if you do not have core values, so 3 to 5 things that you make all decisions through, all hiring, all firing through. If you do not have a video that you're every new hire watches, it's just 3 to 5 minutes with you talking about those things, start there. And then you can go through, okay, what are the positions, my organization chart, what do the positions look like in this business? And then go through what are each of the things that those roles are doing that equal success. as a whole, your office is going to want like essentially admin. These are the global viewpoint or framework to work from. Admin, fulfillment, so your doctors adjusting patient care, marketing, and sales. Or some people say sales and then marketing. And this is also the buyback chain with it too. So when you buy back your time, the first thing, like when we all started all by ourselves, we were doing everything. The first thing we usually do is get a front desk, a assistant, someone to start to take admin off of our plate. Hopefully, with this world, you want to go ahead and use AI first, a VA second, a forward-facing in-person team third, and then fulfillment is someone able to like see the patients, adjust, all of that. And then sales, the ability to communicate to people exactly what you offer, have them start to understand that you have the answer, to understand like what that looks like to work with you and to take care with you. And then to have a really great framework from not only taking them from an active protocol, getting them that initial result in the first like anywhere from 1 to 3 months, but then understanding continuity or wellness care and exclusive memberships with your office. And all of these words, these are micro words that have macro impact or macro influence. So what I mean by that is like everything is down to a science. The faster you get these scripts and these things down, the bigger impact. And this goes back into your systems, right? Because your systems are just saying like, hey, if I were to do it, what would be the optimal way to do that? And you have to train that stuff, because I promise you that what feels like maybe a no-brainer to you is not a no-brainer to someone else. And they do this experiment all the time with like, if you were to write down how to make coffee to someone that's never made coffee before, and you leave steps out and they're just like, here you go, and it turned out horrible. It's like, hey, that actually didn't tell them the exact way to do that thing. So the same thing in our offices, those nuanced things that you do subconsciously now or already, those need to be very, very explicitly said. Like, hey, we say exclusive memberships. We say founding members. This is your wellness program. You're going to have accessibility to this exclusive. Like, the biggest thing people ask us is, how do you continue with us? Don't worry, after this, we'll get you all taken care of. See all these little things that have big, big impacts? This is how we help docs that work with us. It's just like, it's so straightforward when you're outside the jar, and it's so frustrating and hard if you're in the jar and you know where you want to get. But these are the things that are going into your air quote systems. You have to understand this foundation, because it doesn't matter what system someone gives you, what checklist, what script. Like, if you don't understand the foundational things that created success or like what you want out of it, it's only going to get you so far. But if you foundationally understand how to define these things and put them in for your business, like, it's limitless what you can accomplish. Okay, I think we've covered a lot, and hopefully that really, really helps you guys. DM me on Instagram, leave a comment, let me know what else you guys want, and I'm gonna keep fast firing these ideas and these concepts to you, because these frameworks absolutely will change your life. Get on the AI train, start to use it, start to think differently about the way that you set up the framework of your business, and start to think about differently the way that you are needed in your business. This is the same with wealth building, you guys. It's like, you want to be able to control everything and own nothing. Same thing in your office. You want to be able to understand all the portions, be able to have an understanding of it and a vision of what it should look like, and be responsible for implementing or fulfilling, doing none of it. I always say, I'm like, I want to be the least needed person on my team. All right, guys, leave a comment there. I hope this helped. I'm gonna be late to Pilates, so I'm gonna roll.